In the artist community, there are two words that get thrown around a lot: mixing, mastering. But a lot of artists don't really know the difference between the two. But don't you worry, I'm gonna break it down and make it very easy for you to understand. So I made a keynote presentation, so let's jump into it. The truth about mixing versus mastering. What is mixing? Okay, the definition: blending all of the individual tracks in a song, vocals, instruments, drums, into a cohesive whole. Right? So you're mixing all of these different elements: the kicks, the snares, the hi-hats, you know what I'm saying, the vocals, the stacking, the runs, the ad-libs, you know what I'm saying, like everything. This person's vocals, your feature vocals, like you're mixing all of these different things together. So like that's mixing. Like that's literally what mixing is, okay? Then I broke it down into some key goals that's pretty common. Like a lot of people would agree with this when it comes to mixing. So it's to balance the levels of each track, okay? That means you don't want to have certain things just overwhelming and overpowering unless you want it to be that way. Then you pan sounds across the stereo field, okay? So it's like if people want those wide mixes, you got to be able to like pan and make space for certain things in the mix. So it's like that's an element of mixing, okay? Then when you get the mixing, you know, you add effects like EQ, compression, reverb, delay, tuning. So like in this stage, you look at it as like if you're baking cookies, you gotta add the brown sugar, the chocolate chips, you need the egg, you need the vanilla, you need all of the different things in here to make this chocolate chip cookie a chocolate chip cookie. You know what I'm saying? You can't put sugar cookie elements in here and expect a chocolate chip cookie. You feel me? So it's like you're doing that, okay? You're making sure you're putting the right things in here, like you're mixing correctly, okay? So it's like if the vocals are clashing with an acoustic guitar, you're gonna have to carve out some of that acoustic guitar to make room for the vocals. Or if you got one guitar versus another guitar versus a synth and they're all fighting for this one spot, you're gonna have to figure out how to make them all fit together. And now we're gonna look at the metaphor, and it says mixing is like cooking, combining and seasoning ingredients to create the perfect flavor. But see, this is where the nuanced conversation has to come into play. Like a lot of people don't understand this part. It's like if mixing is like cooking, that means everyone has their own different taste, this unique thing, right? Some people like Cajun food, other people can't handle Cajun food. Some people like extra spicy food, some people like bland food, some people don't even eat meat, some people are vegan, some people are vegetarian, some people only eat seafood, you know what I'm saying? What are they, pescatarian? Like there's so many different things, right, of taste. So when it comes to mixing, a lot of people overthink it because they think mixing is this one way, like this one set thing that you got to do every single time for it to work, and that's just not the case, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that want to mix their own music, they get caught in this endless cycle, this endless loop of not knowing that it's okay to have your own taste, you know what I'm saying? Because if a person don't like your mix, that doesn't mean your song is bad. They just don't like that style of mixing, or they might not like that style of music. It's not always the case where a person gonna say, hey, I don't like the mix, and then you just overthink your whole life, and then now you're trying to figure out how to fix your mix. That's one person. You know what I'm saying? You might have 10,000 people love the song, and you're worried about the one person or the two people telling us they didn't like your mix. But it's like they just don't like you. You know what I'm saying? And then you're doing stuff to try to please people that you can't please. So this is mixing at its basic level, right? What is mastering? The definition: the final step in music production, optimizing the mix track for distribution. Okay, there's a lot of people that do not understand this, all right? Mastering is literally this. Like, like, there's no other way to put it. Like, a lot of people be like, I just want to be able to master my vocals. Are you dropping a podcast? Are you dropping an acapella version? Then you can master your vocals, but if you're mixing a song, you're not mastering vocals. Like if it's a beat involved, you're not mastering vocals. You're mastering the song, okay? And a lot of artists get this confused because they'll be in my comments, bro, could you give me a mastering preset for vocals? And it's like, bro, that's not a thing unless it's a podcast or you're doing acapellas. Like you're mastering a song, like you're getting the song ready for distribution. So key goals, we look at enhance loudness, clarity, and polish. So this is making a track sound professional. So this is making it be able to compete with other professional quality songs. So like if you're on a DSP like Apple Music, Spotify, Deezer, anything, right? Tidal, anything, right? So like if they play a Jay-Z song, a Kendrick Lamar song, a J. Cole song, or Drake song, those songs are gonna be similar in loudness, quality, and like being polished, right? But then if your song comes on and it's not up to that same kind of loudness or polish or balance, somebody's gonna click off of it if the song goes lower. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just want to make sure the song can fit. Like that's the thing. It's like it's not a certain setting or a certain way for this to work, but it's just like you just want it to sit within this like range, you know. Then it's like you balance frequencies across the track. That's mean you're making it balanced. Like, or if you want a warmer master, right, it's gonna be a little bit more warmer, so it's going to be boosted more in the warmth area. Or if it needs to be a little bit more open, it's going to be more air, it's going to be more clarity. You know what I'm saying? People might take away some of the mid, they might reduce some of the low end, but it's like you're just balancing what needs to be balanced. Then it goes to ensure consistency across tracks in an album. So this is for the people that's dropping 3 packs, a little EP, a mixtape, an album, whatever you're doing, right? Mastering is to ensure all of your songs play and they're similar in loudness and levels, so it's a good listen. You don't want your one song to be OD loud, and then when the next one come on, right, they gotta turn it back up because the second song was low, and then you get to another song, they gotta turn it up and adjust it some more. It's like, bro, people want to listen through consistently. You want consistency, and that's what mastering gives you, because at the end of the day, every song is going to be mixed different. Every song is going to be mastered different. But mastering is the place where you can make sure everything is more consistent. All right. And then you prepare the audio for different formats. Streaming, CD, vinyl, cassette, you know. All of those have different formats. You know what I'm saying? So it's like how you master for vinyl is going to be completely different for how you master for streaming, and how you master for streaming is going to be different from how you do for tape. You know what I'm saying? And you know, it's a lot of different things. Then we look at the metaphor. Mastering is like plating and garnishing a dish so it's ready to serve. All right. It's a difference between how McDonald's plates the food and serves the food versus going to a 5-star restaurant. The experience is going to be completely different. So it's like mastering, it just depends. If you're paying $5 for masters, that's kind of like fast food. But if you're paying $500, $200, thousands of dollars like a lot of people do, it's gonna be a difference. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you put the icing on the cake, you know, certain cakes look better than other cakes because how do people decorate it. But you know, it's like that's what mastering really comes down to. So it's like that's like this is the easiest way I could really explain that to you. All right. So now we're going to look at mixing versus mastering. Okay, so we got a table right here. So mixing, mastering. Okay, so the focus when it comes to mixing, the focus is mixing individual tracks together. But when it comes to mastering, you're mastering the final mix, the final stereo track. The what you exported out, the wave file, that's what you're doing. Like you're not going back to tweak the EQ, you're not going back to tweak the reverb settings, you're not going back to add a de-esser, you're not going back to automate any, like you're mixing. It's like you're mastering what you've done. Listen, it's like you're mastering what you've already mixed. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not going in back. It's like you're not going back to mess with the individual tracks. Okay. Then we look at the tools. This is probably going to confuse some people, but just hear me out. Okay. EQ. Compression. Reverb. No reverb. Delay. No delay. Okay. When it comes to mastering, like people use linear EQs, they use compression, they're doing stereo imaging, widening, they're doing other little things to polish the song, clean the song up, enhance it more to get more out of the song. They're not going in worried about the reverb. They're not going in with the delay. You know what I'm saying? They're not going back to mix, right? Because there's engineers that only master, and they will send the song back and be like, or hit the engineer back and be like, hey, remix this because this is the problem. I'm not going back and touching it. You fix this and send it back. That, you know what I'm saying? That happens. So that's just something we really got to pay attention to here, because it's a different focus. It's just different things that we're doing in these different processes. You know what I mean? Because recording is one process within itself, right? Then you mix what you recorded, then it goes to the mastering stage. But me personally, I think the most important part is before you even get to the recording part. You know what I'm saying? Because you got to pick a beat. You got to make sure your gear is the best that you can have at that moment. You got to make sure the room, the environment that you're recording in is the best that you can use at that moment. It's like when you go get the ingredients, you want fresh ingredients. You don't want to get the rotten, spoiled ingredients. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you're cooking. So it's like a lot of people don't really think about it like that. But that's just how I think about it. So then we look at the goals. So it's two different goals when it comes to mixing and mastering. When it comes to mixing, again, it is to blend elements into a cohesive mix. Mastering is to prepare for distribution and playback. Those are two different problems that we need to solve. Why they matter? Okay, mixing ensures every element in a song is heard clearly and fits the artist's vision. Okay, that is important. Like, that's why artists be so picky of like who they let touch their vocals, who they let mix their hits or whatever like that, because like, hey, I work with this person, they understand me and we kind of vibe, right? Or on the opposite side, a lot of artists, especially artists like you that's watching this channel, y'all might say, there's nobody that knows my sound better than me, but I know my sound, so I'm gonna do it myself, right? So you make sure your vision is coming to life, all right? So that's fine. But then when we look at mastering, it guarantees the track sounds professional on all playback systems and platforms. That's the ultimate goal, is to sound professional. We don't want our mix to not fit in per se, right? Because in these situations, it's not like having the same settings, but like I said earlier, like if they're playing a song here, another song, then your song comes on and it's lower than everyone else's, people are probably going to skip because you're bringing the energy now, you know? Or if you're playing a song and it's kind of consistent within this little range, then one of your songs just goes like super loud and it's distorted, that they're going to skip. You know what I'm saying? That's not good. Or you get to these DSPs and they either turn your song up or they turn it down, and it just messes up your overall quality. You don't want that to happen. So you want to have your master, or like, you know what I'm saying, you want your master to be within a range to where it's in a sweet spot, to where it's like if they turn it up, it's not going to be too loud and distorted, or if they have to turn it down, it's not going to sound over compressed, or you know what I'm saying, you don't want to have none of those issues. But it's like, mastering is basically the thing that a lot of artists struggle with the most, because they think it's really the mixing that's fucking them, but in reality, it's the mastering that's fucking them. If you want me to master your songs right now, like literally right now, I'm mastering songs for $50. Like one song, $50, and I'm gonna send you 5 versions, right? So you can choose whatever version you want, all right? So yeah, if you want me to master your songs and get 5 versions, hit me. Listen, so just to recap what we just went over is mixing, the art of balancing and blending, okay? This is where we do all the individual tracks, okay? Then mastering, the science of finalizing and optimizing. This is polishing, getting everything ready for upload. You know what I'm saying? This is the final steps before we upload the song that could possibly change our lives. You know what I'm saying? Let's take it one step further. Together, they transform raw recordings into a polished professional track. That's what a lot of people want. They work in tandem. Like, you need both of them to be successful in trying to get your quality to be A1. That's where a lot of people struggle. Like, a lot of people hyper focus on mixing and mixing only for their mastering to suck, and they don't understand it, and they think they're the same thing, but they're two different things.